Every single breakthrough in life begins in the mind. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. If you don't master them, they will master you. Think about it. How many times have you been held back not by reality, but by the story you kept repeating in your mind? I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, it's too hard. These are not facts, they're patterns, programs running inside your head, and unless you interrupt them, they will shape your future. Your thoughts control your emotions, and your emotions drive your actions. If you constantly think fear, you'll live fear. If you constantly think limitation, you'll act small. But if you feed your mind with possibility, if you choose empowering thoughts, you'll create momentum, confidence, and energy. Awareness is the first step because nothing can truly change in your life until you recognize it. You cannot master your thoughts if you do not first see them for what they are. Most people live on autopilot, allowing their minds to run thousands of unchecked thoughts every single day, repeating the same patterns, reinforcing the same beliefs, and creating the same emotional experiences. What you are unaware of, you cannot change. Awareness is the switch that turns on the light in a dark room. You begin to see the shapes, the patterns, and the obstacles you never noticed before. The moment you realize you are not your thoughts, but rather the observer of your thoughts, you reclaim power. You shift from being controlled by your mind to being in control of it. Think about this. Your brain is like a radio constantly broadcasting signals. Some signals are empowering, encouraging, inspiring, and bold. Others are disempowering, filled with doubt, fear, and hesitation. Without awareness, you automatically tune into whatever station your mind picks up. You think the fearful thought is you. You think the limiting belief is truth. But once awareness kicks in, you recognize this is just a thought, not a fact. That separation is where change begins. Awareness allows you to pause before reacting. Imagine someone insults you. Without awareness, you instantly get defensive, angry, or hurt because your mind takes over and runs the program it always runs. With awareness, you notice the emotion rising, you catch the thought, they disrespected me, I'm not valued, and in that pause you create choice. You can decide, do I want to feed this story, or do I want to choose a different perspective? That moment of noticing is the difference between living life as a prisoner of your emotions or as a master of your responses. Becoming aware of your thoughts is like building a new kind of vision. You start observing the language you use with yourself. Do you say, I can't, I'm not enough, or it's impossible? Or do you say, I'll figure it out, I'm growing, there's a way? Awareness means you're catching the subtle scripts running beneath the surface that shape your emotions and decisions every day. It's noticing that when you wake up and immediately think, I'm tired, this day will be hard, you are already programming yourself to struggle. With awareness, you can catch it and reframe it too. I'm alive, I've got energy, let's go. That one shift in thought changes your physiology, your energy, and the way you act throughout the day. Awareness is also about recognizing patterns over time. For example, maybe you notice that every time you face a challenge, your first thought is, I'm not capable. That thought has probably been with you for years, quietly steering your choices, keeping you from applying for that job, starting that business, speaking up in that meeting. With awareness, you shine a spotlight on it. You realize, wait a second, this is just a repeated thought, not the truth about me. That recognition breaks the illusion, and the illusion only has power until you see it. The practice of awareness doesn't mean you stop all negative thoughts. That's impossible. The human brain will always produce them. It means you catch them quickly and don't let them dictate your behavior. Think of it like driving a car. If you close your eyes and drift off, you crash. If you stay awake and aware, even when obstacles appear, you can steer in a better direction. Awareness keeps your hands firmly on the wheel of your mind. Practical ways to build awareness include mindfulness practices like journaling, meditation, and simply pausing to check in with yourself. At the end of each day, reflect, what thoughts dominated my mind today? Were they empowering or disempowering? Did I notice when fear showed up? Did I pause before reacting? By asking these questions, you train yourself to become more conscious of the patterns that normally go unnoticed. Over time, awareness becomes second nature. You begin catching disempowering thoughts in the moment before they spiral into emotions and actions you regret. Awareness is also about emotional intelligence, being able to step outside of yourself and observe what's happening within you. Instead of drowning in sadness, you notice, I'm feeling sadness because of the story I'm telling myself right now. Instead of being consumed by stress, you observe, I'm creating stress by focusing on everything that could go wrong. This observation alone reduces the power of the emotion because you're no longer fused with it. You're witnessing it, and once you can witness it, you can change it. Ultimately, awareness is the foundation of self-mastery. Without it, you are a passenger in your own life, taken wherever your mind wants to go. With it, you step into the driver's seat. You start noticing the thoughts that limit you, and you give yourself the opportunity to challenge and redirect them. It is the skill that opens the door to growth, transformation, and freedom. The first step to mastering your thoughts before they control you is shining the light of awareness on them. Once you see them clearly, they no longer run your life, you do. Your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions dictate your actions. This is one of the most important truths you can ever understand. Everything you do, everything you achieve, every reaction you have, flows from the thoughts you hold in your mind. Yet most people ignore this connection, living as though their emotions are random and uncontrollable, when in fact they are the direct result of the stories they tell themselves. Think about it. A single thought, I am not capable, can trigger anxiety, fear, and hesitation, ultimately stopping you from taking action. Conversely, a thought like, I can handle this, I will find a way, ignites confidence, courage, and energy that propels you forward. Your emotions are the fuel for your actions. Without the right fuel, even the most brilliant strategies and plans fail. When your mind is filled with doubt, frustration, or worry, your body reacts. Your energy drops, your focus scatters, and your performance suffers. On the other hand, when your thoughts are empowering, your emotions create momentum. You feel energized, inspired, and ready to take bold steps. It's a simple but profound principle. Your inner world determines your outer world. Your thoughts are like the steering wheel of a car, and your emotions are the engine. If the steering wheel is broken, you go in the wrong direction. If the engine is fueled by negative energy, you can't go far. To succeed, both must be aligned. Most people think they can ignore negative thoughts or suppress them, but thoughts that are ignored gain power. If you dwell on fear, frustration, or self-doubt without addressing them, they grow stronger, silently influencing your decisions, limiting your potential, and even affecting your relationships. The key is not to ignore your emotions or try to eliminate negative thoughts entirely. It's to recognize that every emotion is a message. When fear rises, it is telling you that you are moving out of your comfort zone, signaling growth is possible. When frustration emerges, it is highlighting an area where improvement is needed. Your thoughts and emotions are intimately linked, and mastering this connection allows you to take deliberate control over your responses. You can consciously choose the thoughts you focus on, and by doing so, you shape the emotions that follow. For example, if you face a setback and think, this is the end, I will never succeed, you will feel hopeless and defeated. But if you train your mind to think, this is a challenge I can learn from, and I will find a solution, you experience resilience, motivation, and determination. The difference between someone who achieves their goals and someone who doesn't often comes down to this simple choice. Which thoughts do they allow to dominate their mind? The winners are those who cultivate empowering thoughts consistently, even in the face of difficulty. Emotions also act as your internal guidance system. Happiness, excitement, and enthusiasm indicate alignment with positive, empowering thoughts, whereas fear, anxiety, or anger reveal areas where your thinking may be disempowering or misaligned with your goals. By paying attention to this feedback loop, you can catch destructive thought patterns early and redirect your energy toward thoughts that serve your highest potential. For instance, if you feel stress before a presentation, notice the thought driving it, perhaps, what if I fail? Instead of letting that thought spiral, replace it with, I am prepared, I have valuable insights to share, and I will communicate with clarity. That shift transforms your emotional state, allowing you to perform at your best. Mastering this relationship between thoughts and emotions is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice. It requires observation, reflection, and deliberate intervention. Techniques like journaling, mental rehearsal, positive affirmations, and mindful breathing can help you recognize which thoughts are beneficial and which are limiting. Over time, your mind becomes trained to default to empowering thoughts, producing positive emotions that naturally drive constructive actions. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results, not by luck, talent, or circumstance, but by consciously shaping their inner world. Remember, thoughts are not just fleeting ideas, they are the architects of your reality. Every emotional experience, every decision, and every outcome begins as a thought. By mastering the connection between what you think and how you feel, you gain the ability to create the life you desire intentionally. You begin to see that your inner narrative is not fixed. It can be rewritten, reprogrammed, and aligned with your goals. Your mind and emotions are not enemies to control. They are allies to train. When you consciously guide your thoughts, you elevate your emotional state, and when you elevate your emotions, you elevate your actions. That is how true transformation happens, and that is how you turn potential into performance and dreams into reality. Challenging limiting beliefs is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward mastering your thoughts and achieving personal growth. Limiting beliefs are the invisible chains that hold people back. They are the stories your mind tells you about who you are, what you are capable of, and what is possible in your life. Most of the time, these beliefs are so deeply ingrained that you don't even realize they exist. They are learned patterns, often formed in childhood or reinforced by past failures, societal expectations, or the opinions of others. If left unchecked, they quietly dictate your choices, shape your emotions, and restrict your potential. The first key to transformation is recognizing these beliefs for what they are, not absolute truths, but assumptions you can challenge and change. Every limiting belief begins as a thought. Perhaps you think, I'm not smart enough to succeed. I don't have the talent. Or opportunities like this are for other people, not me. These thoughts then trigger emotions such as fear, doubt, or anxiety, which influence your actions, or in many cases, inaction. When you consistently allow these beliefs to operate unchallenged, you start avoiding risks, shrinking from opportunities, and settling for less than you are capable of achieving. What's critical to understand is that these beliefs have no real power except the power you give them. They are not permanent, and they can be rewritten with conscious effort and practice. The first step in challenging a limiting belief is to identify it. This requires honest self-reflection and a willingness to question your own assumptions. Pay attention to recurring negative thoughts, automatic self-criticism, or patterns where you consistently doubt your abilities. Journaling is a practical tool for this process. Write down the beliefs you notice, explore where they might have come from, and observe how they have shaped your decisions. The key is to shine a light on them, because anything hidden in the shadows of your mind continues to operate unconsciously. Once you identify a limiting belief, you can begin the process of testing its validity. Next, question the truth of the belief. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just a story I've been telling myself? Most limiting beliefs fail under scrutiny because they are based on perception rather than fact. For instance, someone might believe, I can't start a business because I don't have enough experience. But when you analyze this, you may realize that experience is not the only requirement. Learning, persistence, mentorship, and willingness to take action are equally, if not more, important. Reframing the belief from I can't because I lack experience to I can learn and adapt, and I have unique strengths to offer immediately changes your mindset, your emotions, and your likelihood of taking positive action. Another technique is to gather evidence that contradicts the limiting belief. For every thought that says, I will fail, find examples in your life or the lives of others that demonstrate success despite challenges. Humans are wired to focus on confirming evidence, often ignoring contrary information. Purposefully seeking out examples that disprove your limiting beliefs rewires your mind and weakens the grip of old narratives. Visualization can also be helpful. Imagine yourself succeeding, performing with confidence, and achieving the outcomes you desire. The mind responds to vivid mental images as if they were real experiences, building confidence and altering the emotional response tied to the belief. It is equally important to replace the limiting belief with an empowering one. Simply knowing a belief is limiting is not enough. You must consciously cultivate a new thought that supports growth. For example, replace "I'm not good enough" with "I am capable of learning, improving, and achieving my goals." Replace "this is too hard" with "challenges are opportunities for growth, and I have the skills to overcome them." Repetition is key. The mind strengthens neural pathways through consistent practice. Affirmations, mental rehearsal, and daily reminders help reinforce these new empowering beliefs, gradually replacing the old, limiting ones. Limiting beliefs often resist change because they are tied to identity. Your mind fears letting go of a belief because it has become part of how you see yourself. The key is persistence and self-compassion. Changing your beliefs is not about forcing your mind, it's about gradually rewiring it through awareness, reflection, and consistent action. Every time you act despite a limiting belief, you weaken it and strengthen the belief that you are capable and resilient. Small wins accumulate, building momentum until the old belief no longer controls your thoughts or actions. Ultimately, challenging limiting beliefs is about freedom. It is about refusing to be imprisoned by stories that no longer serve you. When you recognize a belief is limiting, question it, find evidence to the contrary, and consciously replace it with empowering thoughts. You reclaim control over your mind and your life. You begin to act in alignment with your true potential, no longer constrained by invisible chains. Mastery of your thoughts is impossible without this step because limiting beliefs silently dictate outcomes until they are confronted. Once you commit to challenging and transforming these beliefs, you open the door to growth, opportunity, and a life that reflects your true capabilities. Focus is the single most powerful tool you have for transforming your thoughts into results. It is the lens through which your energy, attention, and intention are directed, and it determines the quality of everything you do. Most people underestimate the power of focus because they allow their attention to be scattered across dozens of distractions every day. Social media, endless notifications, multitasking, and a constant stream of external stimuli pull the mind in multiple directions, leaving it fatigued, scattered, and unproductive. Without focused attention, even the best ideas, strategies, and goals fail to materialize. Focus is not merely a skill, it is a discipline that amplifies your thoughts, emotions, and actions, turning potential into tangible results. When you focus intentionally, your mind begins to operate like a laser, cutting through clutter, noise, and confusion. Consider what happens when a magnifying glass concentrates sunlight. The light that was once diffused across a wide area now produces heat capable of creating fire. Similarly, your energy becomes exponentially more powerful when concentrated on a single objective or thought. Scattered attention dissipates your mental and emotional energy, leaving you feeling frustrated and unaccomplished. Focus, on the other hand, channels your resources in a single direction, producing momentum, clarity, and measurable progress. The first step to mastering focus is understanding that attention is a choice. Every moment, your mind decides what to notice and what to ignore. The problem is that most people unconsciously let their environment, other people, and random thoughts dictate their focus. To regain control, you must make conscious decisions about where to place your attention. Ask yourself, what deserves my focus right now? Is this thought, task, or distraction moving me toward my goal, or is it draining my energy? This simple but powerful question immediately redirects your mind toward purposeful action. Focus is deeply linked to clarity of purpose. When you are clear about your goals, values, and priorities, it becomes easier to direct your thoughts and attention toward actions that truly matter. Lack of focus often stems from a lack of clarity. Without knowing exactly what you want, your mind flits from one idea to another, wasting energy and producing mediocre results. Clarity acts as a guiding star, helping your focus align with the outcomes you desire. When you know your destination, every thought, decision, and action can be calibrated to move you closer to it, creating a compounding effect that accelerates progress. A key aspect of focus is learning to eliminate distractions. This requires discipline, boundaries, and sometimes difficult choices. It may mean turning off notifications, setting aside specific blocks of time for deep work, or consciously avoiding negative influences that drain mental energy. Distractions are not merely external, they are also internal. Worries, doubts, and unproductive ruminations can pull your attention away from what is important. Techniques such as meditation, mindfulness, and structured planning help you regain control of your internal environment, keeping your mind trained on what truly matters. Focus also amplifies the impact of your thoughts and emotions. When your attention is directed toward a specific objective, your mind begins to notice opportunities, patterns, and solutions that were invisible when scattered. Your energy becomes synchronized with your intentions, producing results far beyond what could be achieved with random or unfocused effort. This is why individuals who consistently practice focused attention often achieve extraordinary outcomes. They leverage the multiplier effect of concentrated thought, emotion, and action. Another important dimension of focus is the ability to persist despite challenges and setbacks. The mind is naturally tempted to wander, to entertain doubts, and to become discouraged. Without focus, you may abandon your goals at the first sign of difficulty. With focus, however, you can maintain direction, keep your energy aligned, and continue to take purposeful steps forward. Focus allows you to remain anchored in your vision even when circumstances are uncertain or obstacles arise. It turns perseverance into a natural byproduct of disciplined attention. Daily practice of focus strengthens your mental capacity over time. Simple exercises such as prioritizing your most important tasks, scheduling focused time blocks, and minimizing multitasking build mental endurance. Visualization and affirmations also reinforce focus by continually reminding your mind of the goal and the steps needed to achieve it. Over time, focus becomes not just a technique but a way of thinking, a habit that ensures your energy is consistently applied toward growth, achievement, and mastery. Ultimately, focus is power because it transforms potential into reality. Thoughts alone are not enough. Emotions alone are not enough. It is the combination of concentrated thought, directed emotion, and purposeful action that produces extraordinary results. Focus is the bridge between intention and achievement, the tool that allows you to navigate life with clarity, energy, and precision. By mastering focus, you not only direct your mind effectively, but also create the conditions for sustained success, resilience, and fulfillment. Every great achievement in history is a testament to the power of focus, the ability to direct attention, persist through distractions, and align thought and action with a clear objective. By choosing where to place your attention and cultivating the discipline to maintain it, you unlock the ability to turn your vision into reality, one deliberate step at a time. Reframing negativity is a crucial skill for anyone seeking to master their thoughts and take control of their life. Every human experiences challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt, but the difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is often the way they interpret these experiences. Negativity is not inherently destructive. It is simply a perception, a lens through which you view reality. The key is learning to shift that lens, to transform obstacles and setbacks into opportunities for growth, learning, and resilience. When you reframe negativity, you no longer allow difficult circumstances, critical thoughts, or past failures to define your reality. Instead, you use them as stepping stones toward greater understanding and achievement. Negativity often begins as a thought or belief about a situation, yourself, or others. It may manifest as self-doubt, fear, frustration, or anger, creating emotional turbulence that can paralyze action. Many people allow these negative thoughts to dominate, believing them to be absolute truth. They think, "This is too hard," "I'll never succeed," or "I'm not good enough." These interpretations amplify the emotional response, which in turn influences behavior, leading to procrastination, avoidance, or poor decisions. Reframing begins by recognizing that these negative perceptions are not facts, but subjective interpretations that can be challenged and changed. The first step in reframing negativity is awareness. You must observe your thoughts and notice when a negative pattern emerges. For instance, when a project goes wrong, do you automatically think, "I failed, I'm not capable"? Or do you pause and consider, "What can I learn from this experience?" Awareness creates a space between the thought and your emotional reaction, allowing you to respond deliberately rather than react impulsively. By consistently practicing this observation, you develop the mental flexibility needed to reframe negative experiences before they dictate your behavior. Once aware of negative thoughts, the next step is to question them. Ask yourself, is this perspective helping me, or is it holding me back? Often, negativity is rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown. By examining these fears critically, you realize that the threats your mind constructs are often exaggerated or entirely imagined. Reframing involves replacing disempowering thoughts with empowering alternatives. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't handle this challenge," reframe it as, "This is a chance to grow, learn, and strengthen my abilities." The situation itself may not change, but your interpretation, and therefore your response transforms completely. Language plays a powerful role in shaping your mindset. The words you use to describe situations affect your perception of reality. Phrases like "I can't," "This is impossible," or "I always fail" reinforce negativity, whereas phrases like "I can learn," "I will find a way," and "This is a challenge I can overcome" create a mindset of possibility. By consciously choosing language that empowers, you condition your mind to focus on solutions rather than problems. This shift in language rewires thought patterns over time, allowing you to respond to setbacks with creativity, resilience, and determination instead of discouragement. Reframing also involves looking for the hidden opportunity in every negative situation. Every challenge contains a lesson or a doorway to improvement if you are willing to see it. A mistake may reveal a skill gap that can be addressed. A failure may redirect you to a better path. Criticism may highlight areas for personal growth. By shifting your focus from what went wrong to what can be gained, you transform obstacles into tools for advancement. This mindset fosters resilience as setbacks no longer feel like defeats but as integral parts of the journey toward mastery. Gratitude is another powerful technique to reframe negativity. Even in difficult situations, there are aspects to appreciate, lessons learned, personal growth, or support from others. By focusing on these elements, you weaken the emotional grip of negativity and strengthen the neural pathways associated with positive thinking. Gratitude does not erase challenges, but it shifts your perspective, allowing you to see opportunities and potential where before you saw only problems. Consistency is key when practicing reframing. Negative thought patterns are often deeply ingrained, and they do not disappear overnight. Daily practice of mindfulness, reflection, and conscious interpretation builds mental resilience and flexibility. Over time, your default response to adversity shifts from resistance and despair to curiosity, problem solving, and empowerment. The mind becomes trained to automatically seek opportunities and solutions rather than dwell on setbacks, making positivity and growth the natural outcomes of even difficult circumstances. Reframing negativity is not about ignoring problems or pretending challenges do not exist. It is about choosing how to perceive and respond to them. By consciously transforming your interpretations, you reclaim control over your thoughts, emotions, and actions. What once held you back now becomes the fuel that propels you forward. The mind is a powerful tool, and negativity is simply a challenge to be managed with skill. Those who master the art of reframing negativity gain emotional freedom, resilience, and the ability to turn every setback into a stepping stone toward success. Ultimately, reframing negativity empowers you to live life intentionally rather than reactively. It allows you to transform challenges into opportunities, fear into courage, and doubt into confidence. Every time you successfully reframe a negative thought or situation, you strengthen your ability to control your mind, shape your emotions, and direct your actions toward the life you desire. By practicing this skill consistently, you cultivate a mindset that thrives under pressure, grows through adversity, and achieves results beyond what would be possible if negativity were left unchecked. Daily mental discipline is the foundation of mastering your thoughts and ultimately mastering your life. The human mind is like a muscle. It strengthens with consistent exercise and weakens with neglect. Just as athletes train their bodies every day to build endurance, strength, and precision, so too must we train our minds to think clearly, act deliberately, and maintain control over our emotions. Without consistent mental discipline, even the most inspiring thoughts, ideas, and goals remain abstract. They never materialize into tangible results. Daily practice is what separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. Mental discipline begins with intentionality. It requires consciously deciding to take control of your thoughts rather than allowing them to wander unchecked. Every day presents hundreds of opportunities for your mind to drift through distractions, reactive thinking, self-doubt, and negative emotions. Without deliberate effort, the mind defaults to patterns reinforced over a lifetime, many of which are limiting or unproductive. By committing to daily mental discipline, you build the capacity to notice these patterns, intervene, and redirect your thoughts toward empowerment, growth, and purposeful action. One essential practice of daily mental discipline is the consistent management of focus. This involves prioritizing what is important, eliminating distractions, and giving your full attention to tasks and challenges that move you closer to your goals. Structured routines, time blocking, and mindfulness exercises are practical tools to train the mind to maintain focus for extended periods. The discipline of focus strengthens your mental endurance, increases productivity, and cultivates the clarity required to make sound decisions under pressure. Over time, this habitual concentration becomes second nature, and your mind begins to operate with precision and purpose. Another critical component is emotional regulation. Mental discipline is not merely about thinking clearly. It is also about managing how you feel and respond in any given situation. Your emotions are intimately linked to your thoughts, and unregulated emotions can cloud judgment, distort perception, and lead to impulsive actions. Daily mental discipline involves observing your emotions without judgment, identifying their triggers, and choosing constructive responses. Techniques such as deep breathing, mindfulness meditation, and reframing challenges help stabilize your emotional state, allowing you to approach life's difficulties with composure, resilience, and clarity. Positive habit formation is another cornerstone of mental discipline. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are shaped by habits, patterns repeated daily. By consciously establishing empowering habits, you create a framework that supports long-term success. This includes practices such as journaling to track thoughts and progress, setting daily intentions to align actions with goals, and reflecting on lessons learned each day. These rituals may seem small, but their cumulative effect is enormous. Daily repetition strengthens neural pathways in the brain, making disciplined, productive thinking automatic rather than effortful. Self-awareness is also a fundamental element of daily mental discipline. It involves continuously monitoring your internal dialogue, recognizing limiting beliefs, and identifying areas where your mind may be steering you toward negativity or inaction. The disciplined mind does not blindly accept every thought as truth. It questions, evaluates, and redirects. This self-awareness allows you to intercept unhelpful patterns before they influence behavior, replacing them with thoughts and actions that support your growth. Over time, this leads to an increasingly refined and accurate understanding of yourself, your goals, and your potential. Consistency is the key to transformation. Mental discipline is not a one-time effort, but a lifelong practice. The mind resists change, and old habits, thoughts, and emotional patterns will persist unless challenged regularly. By engaging in daily mental exercises, you build resilience against distractions, setbacks, and negative influences. Even when life becomes chaotic or stressful, disciplined thought allows you to maintain control, stay aligned with your values, and take intentional steps toward your objectives. It is through this persistent practice that mastery of the mind becomes achievable. Another critical aspect of mental discipline is visualization and mental rehearsal. By intentionally imagining desired outcomes, practicing problem-solving scenarios, and mentally rehearsing challenges, you prepare your mind and body to respond effectively in real life. Visualization strengthens neural connections, enhances confidence, and reduces anxiety, making your responses in actual situations more deliberate and effective. When combined with other daily mental practices, visualization becomes a powerful tool to align thoughts, emotions, and actions with your highest potential. Mental discipline also requires accountability and reflection. Each day, take time to review your thoughts, actions, and decisions. Ask yourself, did I maintain focus? Did I respond consciously to challenges? Did I act in alignment with my goals and values? This reflection reinforces learning, highlights areas for improvement, and keeps your mind consistently engaged in self-mastery. The act of daily review ensures that your mental discipline is not passive but active, intentional, and evolving over time. Ultimately, daily mental discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is what transforms knowledge into action, potential into performance, and dreams into reality. Those who cultivate this practice gain control over their thoughts, master their emotions, and develop the resilience to navigate challenges with clarity and confidence. Without daily mental discipline, even the most brilliant strategies, ideas, or insights remain unrealized. With it, every thought becomes purposeful, every action aligned, and every day an opportunity to build the life you desire. By committing to this practice consistently, you strengthen your mind, sharpen your focus, and empower yourself to master your thoughts before they ever have the chance to control you.